Going on, everybody? Welcome back to Clutch Cinema Talk. Clutch Cinema Talk CCT. We are here with another movie review, and today we are going to be talking about the finally highly anticipated, I think it's highly anticipated, at least to me it was, A Quiet Place Part 2, which was set to come out last year, 2020 in March, but finally came out this year at the end of May 2021. Quiet Place Part 2, directed by John Krasinski, starring John Krasinski and his wife Emily Blunt. You also got Cillian Murphy, Noah Jupe, and Millicent Simmons all in the cut. Those are the 5 main characters in this one. This is a non-spoiler review. Non-spoilers, there is no spoilers in this at all. So, A Quiet Place Part 2. This was, I'm going to say, one of the better sequels in a movie, of a movie in the last couple of years that I remember. I mean, the last great sequel that I want to say, and it's probably been more since this one's come out, but this is the one that comes to mind, especially action-wise, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I think this one, Quiet Place Part 2, is one of the better sequels in the last decade or 2 decades, because this one was really good. Really good. It has a similar formula to the first movie, where it's has a very dramatic opening, a lot of exposition in the middle, character building and world building, and then has a very suspenseful and tension-filled third act. It's a winning formula, so you know Krasinski used the same kind of formula from the first one. If it's not broken, you don't fix it. Leaves in the second one is great. It feels like a typical part 2, a typical middle of the sandwich, where if it's not there, the first and third movie is not going to make sense. And I say first and third movies because there is going to be a part 3 the way this movie finishes. Probably has to go with how it does in the box office, especially now, if it's going to make enough money. But I do expect a part 3, especially the way this one ended. It's like, which movie is like this? I guess like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or even Empire Strikes Back, where it's coming out of the first movie and it leads right into the third movie. It's perfectly in the middle. It could stand alone, but you would have to have knowledge of, you know, the first movie. You know what I mean? It doesn't just stand alone. There's something before it. There's going to be something after it. As a short runtime, I like the first one. I don't know what the exact, I think an hour 37, yeah, an hour 37 says right there. It's really quick. I was rewatching the first one and I was surprised it was that short. It wasn't how I remembered it, but it's a nice short, because I think we're so conditioned to these 2 hour and a half movies, 3-hour movies now, that an hour and a half feels like that. But it's great. The pacing wise is great. You never feel like you're bored or anything like that. You're always on the edge of your seat. You're always suspenseful. The stakes Krasinski puts in this are really high, so you're always like really antsy, like you want to know what's gonna happen next, how things are gonna get better. It does a great job of doing that. In regards to that, you feel the suspense, and you feel the desperation of this family, and you feel connected to it. And I want to say with minimal backstory to these characters, and that's fantastic, because in the last couple of years there's a lot of these characters in these movies that we don't really feel anything toward. We're not really rooting for them, but this family, we feel for them. We feel their desperation and just needing to survive, and their loss. And this movie does a really great job with that, with the character development and the expansion of the world building of this universe in this movie. There's a lot more action in this movie. This movie, these monsters, yo, they don't give 2 craps about anything. That's all I want to say. They don't care at all. They don't care at all. This movie is a lot louder. It's a lot more brutal than the first one, where the first one was like a lot of like staying quiet, and those things are like slinking around. This movie, there's a lot. They're just running around, just smacking living daylight out of people, just going to town on these people. But this movie's a lot louder, a lot more brutal than the first movie. Standouts in this movie, acting wise, are 100% the kids. My man Noah Jupe and Millicent. I'm sorry for saying this wrong. Millicent Simmons. Amazing. These 2 kids are amazing. That's all I'm saying throughout this movie, they are fantastic. Fantastic. Some of the best kid acting I've seen in a while. I love them. I love them so much. They're great. And another standout in this movie, not acting wise, but the sound design in this movie. Just like in the first movie, the sound design was absolutely fantastic. I always remember watching the video of like the guy like crunching the celery, making that noise. It's just the noise of like the ear thing of the creature, whatever. In this movie, it's still amazing. The screeching from the is horrifying. I hate it, and that's why it makes it so freaking good. So in conclusion, is the big question is Quiet Place Part 2 better than the first movie? No. All right. It's not better than the first movie. The first movie I still think is very, very close to like being perfect, despite some, you know, some annoying plot holes in there. And the second one doesn't come without its plot holes as well, but it does do an amazing job of continuing the story in a way that it doesn't feel forced. It still feels it flows, and it looks like it's gonna flow into another movie. Hopefully, I'm hoping they do make it into another movie, but it's not better than the first one, and that's okay because it is still an amazing sequel and one of the better sequels in recent history. So that's what I feel about The Quiet Place Part 2. I highly recommend it. If you're thinking between A Quiet Place Part 2, you got Cruella and The Conjuring coming out. I haven't seen the other two. And maybe Cruella is better, but A Quiet Place Part 2, I really recommend if you want to go for a very nice, have a nice thrill, be on the edge of your seat. This is the movie to go see this weekend or last weekend because this is late or whatever. Quiet Place Part 2, highly recommend. Definitely go watch it. If you haven't gone to watch it, let me know what you think down in the comments. I am gonna hopefully talk about this in spoilers in depth because there's a lot of things to talk about what's gonna happen maybe in The Quiet Place Part 2. So thank you guys. Quiet Place Part 2, 2 thumbs up. I'll catch you guys in the next review. All right? Okay. Let me know what your favorite part was. I'm out of here. Bye.